All right. Let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is From Only a Theory. And pretty much this lesson comes from inspiration of like a series of videos I've been, Spirit been having me do last few days, dealing with this whole situation with the Manhattan Project, the missiles, the creation of these missiles, and the whole process that it took to get these things set up as a weapon. It took 3 years and over $2 billion to, actually get this technology and this weaponry set up, and to be able, to use, and I was just thinking last night, because I finished watching the movie Oppenheimer last night. It's 3 hour movie. I think I watched like an hour a night or something like that. And there was a lot of nuggets in the movie. It wasn't action packed. It wasn't an action packed movie, but it did draw you in and keep your interest. It's more so like almost like a somewhat of a documentary setting / court setting trial, so to speak. And started thinking too about how we're in the last days. And one of the reasons, or one of the ways we know that we're in the last days, is because of the technology that the Lord has given these devils. Matter of fact, 2 precepts come to mind. And the technology that the Lord has given these devils far exceeds anything that has ever been on the planet Earth. You go back centuries, you have different weaponry that Esau had over the years, but nothing in comparison to what's going on right now. Daniel 12:4, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end, meaning, put a or cover or hide or make the truth to be a mystery to the time of the end. And this book was sealed until the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai opened it up once again after 2,000 years to a man by the name of Elder Abba Bivens, which we believe is Elijah the prophet and John the Baptist and many other great men coming back in the reincarnation to bring this truth out in the end. And from that small mustard seed, you see what great tree has sprung up from it worldwide. So the truth was eventually revealed, right? It says, many shall run to and fro, and you see the technology that they have to run to and fro. At one point, you had to either go by foot, by horse, or by ship. Now you have planes. You had the Concorde, which they discontinued, I believe, which actually would get you from one part of the world to the other. And as you see each day go by, each month, each year, excuse me, you see the technology constantly increasing. That's why when you go back to like the 50s, I believe it was the 50s and the 60s, when you first started getting the technology of the computer, you had rooms full of big, gigantic, big, gigantic boxes of computers. Then eventually they started narrowing them down, making them smaller and smaller and smaller. So even up to today, you have a cell phone or smartphone, which is a computer within itself, laptops, So everything has increased. It says, and knowledge shall be increased And that whole situation that took place in the Manhattan Project, which, by the way, the name Manhattan means a place where we get the bow, which is heavy, spiritual for, these nuclear missiles, and the housing, because the arrow, is good, but if you don't have the bow to launch it from, then it's no good. You know, you can only use it like stabbing it, but to get, to shoot from long distances, you wouldn't be able to. So, the name Manhattan means place where we get the bow or something along those lines. So all of this technology grew, but what you have to understand is all of this started with just a theory. And what is a theory? Well, a theory is a supposition or a system of ideas intended to explain something, especially one based on general principles independent of the thing to be explained. A set of principles on which the practice of an activity is based, an idea used to account for a situation or justify a course of action, a collection of propositions to illustrate the principles of a subject. So pretty much it's just an idea, it's just thoughts, it's just beliefs. Theories are just beliefs. They're opinions, hypotheses, conjectures, speculations. So just from a speculation itself, these devils were able to create such a tremendous accomplishment of these missiles. And the Lord was the one that worked on the scientists and physicists' mind to bring out, this technology that would eventually bring the demise, their demise, And I wish I would have took a screenshot of the one of the last, it's like towards the end of the movie where Oppenheimer was speaking to Einstein, and pretty much he was saying something along the lines, I can't really remember fully. That's why I wish I would have took a picture of it. Something along the lines of this technology, could destroy the world. And Oppenheimer said it will, or something along those lines. I can't really remember exactly how he said it. But when we go to Job 33:15, it says, in a dream, in the vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, which is their mind, and sealeth their instruction. Now, this devil Oppenheimer, according to the movie, I haven't done, any other research outside of that, and, a little reading here and there. He was having a lot of visions while he was awake, having a lot of visions of, of pretty much of the elements coming together and the destruction. And he would be giving a speech and he'll see the people being destroyed, a flash of light and, skin coming off of people and walking and, there being burnt bodies on the ground and him stepping in them, So he was getting a lot of these different visions. And that was the Lord working on his mind because he was a physicist, along with the scientists and along with all of the rest of those other individuals that were there at the Manhattan Project in Los Alamos, New Mexico, to pretty much bring together this technology. Because remember, it wasn't just the splitting of the atoms. It was actually also, the way to contain it, being able to put it into something, to hold that force, being able to deliver it from one place to another. So there was a lot that went into the making of these bombs. See, people look at nuclear missiles and they think it just happened overnight. No, this is something that took time. It took ideas. It took, and this was the Lord working on these devils' minds to bring this all together. So all of this happened from a theory, from a belief, from a speculation. All right. And before I go into anything further, this is a little still from the movie that I clipped. This is a scene where Oppenheimer was speaking to this other scientist or physicist, I forget who it was, and they were discussing, you know, taking that ideology of this atomic bomb and making it into a weapon, right? And this is what one of them said. I think this was Oppenheimer. No, the other guy that said it to him, I think. It says, you're talking about turning theory into a practical weapons system. And that's exactly what it is. It was a theory, an idea, and they actually were able to bring that idea to life because the Lord worked on their mind to do so. Because like the scriptures say, let's get this one real quick before we get to the main one. Man, before we go to this, let me just get it on deck. This is, you brothers know this one already. But let me get this on deck here. And then let's go to the scripture here, Zechariah 14 and 12. It says, and this shall be the plague. Now, plague, which brings to mind another precept in the book of 2nd Ezra. Let's go to that in the book of 2nd Ezra. Let me I believe it's 2nd Ezra 16. Let me just hold that on deck, and then we'll go back to Zechariah. 2nd Ezra 16. Okay, so let's go back. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Matter of fact, this was another precept that came to mind. Yesterday, and I searched for it. I figured it was in the book of Ezekiel 20, but I wasn't sure. And then I found it. So Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai for that. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem, because this destruction is going to serve to cleanse this land and to set things back into proper balance, because the world is off kilter. The world is the balances are tipped on the side of negativity, on the side of wickedness. So there's no way to really clean this place but by this fire. And that's what the Lord said. He would not destroy the earth anymore by water, but he never said anything by fire. And fire is a purifying agent. So it says this plague here, what it says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. And when you look up the movie Terminator, Terminator scene, Sarah Connor playground. Let's try that, see what happens. Images right there, boom. So their flesh. So you see the one image. She was standing there on the fence. The people are, children are playing. The people are playing there, at the park. And then you see the wall of fire coming through. Right, as you can see right here, you see the wall of fire coming through. And when that wall of fire comes through, it hits the people. And when it hits the people, it disintegrates them. Thing is acting up. It disintegrates them, as you can see there. So the flesh is consuming away off of their bones. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their bones are going to consume too. It ain't just going to be the flesh. It's going to be the bones. Everything is going to be totally wiped off. So their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, right? Because that heat is very intense. I think it's either 1,000,000 degrees or more. It says, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. So the flesh the eyes and the tongue everything's gonna consume out of their mouth. It's gonna totally melt. Bones, everything is gonna melt. And the only thing that has that ability is this nuclear destructive power that they have. And these devils that make these movies, they've had visions about this destruction, and people, worldwide have had dreams and visions of the destruction of America and the judgment that the Lord is going to bring upon the earth. If you go on YouTube, just on YouTube alone, and type in, testimonies or visions that people have had or dreams that they had, you're going to get a whole lot of different visions that people had. And some of them are going to tell you that they had visions of the nuclear destruction, wall of fire coming through, and different, other scenarios that are further proof that we're in the end times. All right. So the one in Ezekiel chapter 20 and 32, it says, "And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries to serve wood and stone." So this is dealing with Jake, but in other words, it's not going to come to pass. But one of the reasons in this time now is because the Lord is going to destroy this place by thermonuclear destruction. So all of those visions you had of the future are going to all vanish away, including the people that are here, because we got to get back to this in Ezra. But let's go here to 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night," because although it's plain as can be in the scriptures, people out there are saying we're in the end times, but it's still going to come upon a lot of people unawares, "in the which the heavens shall pass away with great noise." What is that great noise? The missiles pelting down on the soils of America. Boom, boom, boom. And High Priest Ariel used to speak about that, and he used to make those noises, and it felt like the ground was shaking. When them missiles hit, it's going to be some shit. "And the elements shall melt with fervent heat." Now, when you look up this word elements, it's like, the periodic table, you have a bunch of elements. Well, those are the elements that were infused together to create these missiles. The word there is stoichion. It says any first thing, see, from which the other belonging to some series or composite whole take their rise. An element first principle. So what is that? Everything that you see is comprised of elements. Everything. People, your clothing, water, your car, computers, the mouse that you use, everything that you have, bottles, water, bottled water, all of that stuff. Your walking stick, everything that you have, everything that you use is composed of different elements. So there's a periodical chart, and that periodical chart has all of the molecules or elements in their raw stage, and you put some of those elements together and they create other things. Like, for example, water is H2O, 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, and you put those two elements together, it creates water. So these elements, which are all of these buildings, cars, people, animals, trees, flowers, grass, everything that you see on the planet, or should I say on the soils of America, is going to be burnt up. All right. The letters of the alphabet. So you get the point. The elements, rudiments, primary and fundamental principles of any art, science, and discipline. And if you want to get a little further understanding of it, just go and type in periodic table. Periodic table. And there you go. Periodic table. Boom. You see that? This one is not that clear. And then, there's others you can see, and it'll break down what each element is. And the boy. But you get the idea. You just click on periodic table. You look at um these different elements, and they'll break it down for you. You'll see hydrogen in there. You'll see gold. You'll see silver. You'll see. Let me try to open one of these up. There you go. Hydrogen. See lithium, beryllium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. So you have, this is the periodic table. So everything you see on the planet in America is made up of all of these elements. So you have alkali metals, alkaline earth, transition metals, semi-metals, non-metals, basic metals, halogen, noble gas, lanthanide, actinide. So now you understand, and you see all of these. Polonium, arsenic, phosphorus, so on and so forth. And a lot of these are and well, these are they're flammable. All right, that's why you have this town in Pennsylvania called Centralia, which is still on fire now. It's been 60 years that when it first caught on fire back in 1962, and it's still on fire to this day. To this day, and they said it might be another 250 years before it'll burn out. So that's just that little fire that was started from, garbage that they were burning. So just imagine the whole of America being on fire, and all of those different mines, underground mines and coal mines, and gas, and petroleum, and hydrogen, and just everything that you see, all and the stuff that's underground that you don't see. So just imagine that all catching on fire at the same time. That's why this place is going to burn forever. That's why it says where the fire is not quenched in the book of Mark, the 9th chapter, and the worm died not, because it's going to be burning for a long time. All right. So you get the idea. Let's read this again, and then let's move on to the next point. So it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up, right? Because Esau's whole system is going to collapse once the destruction comes. It says, so seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? And we're supposed to be speaking about these things, hastening the day for the Lord to deliver us. Because the elect has to be off of the ground into the chariot by the time the destruction really starts smoking. So going back to Zechariah, right, where it says, this is the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Now we understand that the thing that where the flesh consumes away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes consume away in their holes, and the tongue consume away in their mouth, that's talking about this fire that's going to melt everything, including the bones. Now let's just look up this word plague, because I want to go to 2nd Ezra. The plague there is magapa, which ma in the beginning of a word, which if it's not connected to the word itself, is of or from. And the main word here is gapa, as you see there. For here is nagap. So magapa is blow, slaughter, plague, pestilence, strike, smite. Okay? So here, blow, fatal stroke. That's what we're dealing with, the blow or the fatal stroke, which is going to be those missiles pelting down upon the ground and destroying everything in its sight. All right? And that's why here, plague, pestilence, divine judgment, that's dealing with sicknesses. But you could also apply that to the missiles, as we see here in 2nd Ezra 16. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. Right? Because once Esau goes down, all nations are going down. Yeah, when Yahushua, when the scriptures say that Yahushua is King of Kings and Lord of Lords, it means just that. He's coming back to take down everybody, including God. Okay? A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? So what is this sword? It's talking about the missiles. In the 15th chapter of this same book, it speaks about flying swords. And that's how Ezra described it, because that's how he saw it. They were flying swords because they were coming off of jets. They were being shot from submarines. They were being shot from these trucks that carry nuclear missiles. They were being shot from the earth, from these different silos. It says, a sword is sent up upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Because you're not going to have anything that's going to be able to put this fire out, because it's going to be this whole land being set on fire. That's why it says the nations are going to stand afar off and see the smoke of a burning. It says plagues are sent unto you. What are the plagues? That's dealing with the missiles. And what is he that may drive them away? Because you can't drive them away. In the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter, it speaks about that when these missiles are shot, you're going to have other missiles that are going to be shot against it. These defense system type missiles, and it says even if they hit them, these missiles, they're not going to destroy the missile. Why? Because the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is going to be in those missiles, guiding those missiles. So even when that other missile hits it, it's going to just absorb all of that and just run right through it like nothing. It says, may any man drive away the hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire and stubble when it has begun to burn? Right. You have, fires, that fire in Centralia, still burning to this day. They can't put it out. You got to let it burn out. You can't quench it. That's why it says, may anyone quench the fire and stubble when it has begun to burn. And that's what it means, the unquenchable fire. The fire that never goes out, the everlasting fire. It's going to go, the fire that the fire cannot be quenched. You cannot put it out. It has to go out on its own. It says, may one turn away the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? Because it's already set and etched in stone. Ain't no turning it. It's going to happen, whether you want it to or not. You have people that don't want to, they hate when you talk about the end of the world, but it don't matter what if you don't like to hear it or not, it's still coming. You can't just wish it away. Scripture say, what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? The Lord forbid, because he's still going to do what he said he's going to do. He's not a man that he should lie. We have a more sure word of prophecy. This thing is going to happen. This devil, the Lord gave this devil the technology, and it's too late to turn it back. They got to the point where they built up so many missiles in the arms race. Now they went to an agreement that they had to, diminish or get rid of certain arsenal, not build anymore, and get rid of certain arsenals. But it's too late. The wheels are already in motion. See, you're not going to be able to stop this. It's already in motion. And never in the history of man has there ever been a time when there was this type of technology on the earth to where you can shoot a bomb somewhere and destroy cities, whole countries. So this is another way we know that this is the end, because the Lord said that this world, the second death, is going to be that lake of fire. And what's going to create that lake of fire? These missiles that the Lord gave to these scientists and physicists to put together and construct so that they can destroy themselves. Because it's going to be the judgment of the Lord upon them, because this is what he said he would use. This is the plague he would use to fight against those that have pretty much persecuted and killed Jerusalem, the Israelites. A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? See? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? Right. And that's how he's coming. He's coming to bring, unleash hell. The earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof, the sea riseth up with waves from the deep. Why? Because when those missiles hit, they're going to cause great earthquakes. And that great earthquake is going to cause a shift in the planet, and that shift is going to cause the waves of the sea to get larger and larger. So not only is America going to be totally on fire, the earth is going to be rocking to and fro. Tsunamis are going to be coming. Buildings are going to be falling all over the place. People are going to be horrified. A lot of them are going to die of strokes, of heart attacks, because it's going to be a horrible time that was never since there was ever a time, even to this day. And never shall it be this way ever again. And that's why this is going to be the final war to end wars. And that's why it says that once this devil goes down, there's not going to be any more wars. So ain't going to be no holdouts. God ain't going to rule for 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Okay? It says, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord and before the glory of his power. Yeah, because even in Ezekiel 38, it speaks about the birds in the heavens are going to shake. I believe it even speaks about the fish in the sea, if I'm not mistaken, For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. See, and Manhattan just happens to be called, the name Manhattan means place where we get the bow. And they happen to call this project, which created the missile, the first atomic bomb, which when Oppenheimer saw it, he said, he quoted the scripture in the Bhagavad Gita, I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. And they happen to call that the Manhattan Project. The Lord got this devil in a trick bag. He don't even see it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna come back to that, but let's go to Psalms 73. Let me just do it this way. Save time. Psalm 73:18. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down into destruction. So he put them in a bad position. They thought they were in a good position because they had power over the earth. They got rich. They had people, groveling after them. They had people under their iron fist. But that same power that you have and the same technology that was given to you was given to you so that you could destroy yourself. Because that's going to be the very thing that the Lord uses to destroy you. There was a scripture that just came to mind. Set them down to destruction. Damn. Well, if it comes back, if not, then can move on. Yeah, because that's the very thing that the Lord used to set them up so that they could destroy themselves. And never in the history of man had they ever had this type of technology to do the things that they're doing. The word is chalakwa, not delacqua, chalakwa. Portion, parcel of ground, smooth part, smoothness, flattery, smoothness, slippery places. See? So where they're sliding. So even if they didn't want to, they're still going to go down. Because the Lord is in control. He ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he wants to. Damn, I wish that scripture would come back. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places, thou castest them down into destruction. Okay, well, it's not coming to mind. So if it comes back, then Lord's will I get it. So back in 2 Ezra 16 and 12, the earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof, the sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord and before the glory of his power. Excuse me, Salakim. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. And there's no coincidence that that these missiles are called ICBMs. Intercontinental ballistic missile. What is continental? Meaning from country to country. Inter is, it goes from one country to another. So an intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, is a ballistic missile with a range greater than 5,500 kilometers or 3,400 miles. Primarily designed for nuclear weapons delivery, delivering one or more thermonuclear warheads. See, one or more. In some cases, they have 10 and possibly even more than that. Conventional chemical and biological weapons can also be delivered with varying, and this shows you that these chemicals, biological weapons, which you see here, they were all set up pretty much by scientists and physicists that put their thinking caps on with and threw around different ideas and came up with a solution and came up with oh, that's what the scripture Barakatah Yahweh Shemel Shai. And that's they were able to put together the missile technology that they have or that they possess. This was it, Barakatah Yahweh Shemel Shai. This is Zechariah. I'm sorry, Zechariah. I got Zechariah on the brain. Revelation chapter 13 and 13. And he doeth great wonders, meaning this beast, this is America coming back, in the same power structure and the same fashion as the ancient Roman Empire. That's why the American government and their building structure or architecture is set up just like ancient Rome. Not their architecture in general, but their architecture as far as their governmental buildings are concerned. Revelation 13:13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And you have the planes, the Enola Gay, as you see there. Enola Gay dropping bomb. Let's go to images. Let's see if they show. There goes a missile right there. So the Enola Gay dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. As you can see here, they're dropping a bunch of bombs, and then this right here, that's when they dropped it. And when they showed in the movie, when they actually first tested the atomic bomb, they show you how the when the detonation happened, they show you that big fireball shooting up into the heavens, and I see why the Apostle John and Prophet Isaiah said that it was like the heavens being rolled together as a scroll. And then when you look at the movie, it showed you that the fire was like reddish, and then you had like black from the smoke, and it made me think of the scripture in Revelation 9 where it speaks about Jacinth. Like when you look up the word Jacinth, right? Let me see. You can see it's like a reddish, blackish, as you can see, and a little bit of that amber color from the fire. And that it made me think of that. And like when you see the movie, I don't know if they're gonna, if they, you I don't know if you'll be able to even find that. Let's see. Oppenheimer movie, atomic bomb scene. Let's see. Boom, right there. That was the scene. And then when they pan back, please. Inside joke. When they panned back, you could see it was kind of like a reddish, blackish, and had some amber color in it. That goes into Jacinth in the book of Revelation, chapter 9. Let's get that real quick. And 17. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, which is dealing with the missiles, having breastplates of fire and jacinth. When you look up that word jacinth or jacinth, however you say it, the word there is huaquintinos, which is hyacinth of the color of hyacinth, of a red color bordering on black. See? And then when you look at the stone itself, I got rid of it. When you look at the stone itself, let's go back. You can see, oops. You can see it's like a reddish, kind of blackish. And then it has, some of them have like an amber color, like this one here. Just like we saw that one there. Just like we saw in the explosion right here. I was like, wow, man, this movie is bad, man. The movie is bad. And they show you how the heavens being rolled together as a scroll. You know, and it makes, you know, you kind of understand, you know, why the Apostle John, you know, mentioned that and used that analogy. Noda Gay dropping bomb. Right there, boom. That's the atom bomb when they dropped it. See, that's the Jason color. And then, you know, it the heavens being rolled together as a scroll. When you look at a scroll, it's rolled up like that. All right, so let's go. Let's go back to Revelation 13 and 13. And he doeth great wonders so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And that's how they did it, you know. So you had the plane, you had the Enola Gay, then you had another one that dropped Fat Man. You know, I don't know the name of the other one that dropped Fat Man, but I'm sure the fact checkers will slap that together. You know, I'm pretty sure brothers will find it. So going back to 2 Ezra 16 and 13, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. And now we understand this technology which they never had before. And this is why the prophets and the men of the Lord would use the terminology of their times to be able to explain the visions that they saw, because you can't explain it any other way. But when you look at it now, you understand, you know, why they use that terminology, because it makes sense, you know. It says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again. Yeah, because you can't stop it. It's already in motion until they come upon the earth. And that's why the Apostle Peter made that statement in 2 Peter 1:19, where he says, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto we have a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that you take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, unto the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts, which is Yahweh Shai. A couple of brothers put it up. Two of the elders, Elder Natazakba and the Elder Mathathia, the atomic bomb used at Nagasaki, Japan on August 9, 1945 was Fat Man. Okay, so it was Fat Man. The bomb was dropped by USAAF, which is the United States Air Force, B-29 airplane named Boxcar. Goddamn. Piloted by the U.S. Army Air Force Major Charles Sweeney. The atomic bomb used at Nagasaki, Japan on August 9. Yep, same information. Got the fact checkers on it. The two, and then the brother Yehowadah, the two atomic bombs dropped on Japan during World War II were called Little Boy and Fat Man. That's right. Little Boy was dropped on Hiroshima, and Fat Man was dropped on Nagasaki. Now, what you have to understand, too, is that you had a series of bombs that were dropped all over Japan, Tokyo, and other major cities. And them Japanese still wasn't giving up. But it wasn't until those two were dropped that they finally said, you know what? All right, we give up. So they caused fire to come down from heaven, and this made them pompous. That's why when the nation started to get this technology, they were like, oh, shit. You know, and Oppenheimer in the movie was trying to tell President Truman, look, you know, you got to watch out for them Russians because they're going to, you know, eventually get the bomb. And Truman was pompous in the movie. Nah, they're not going to get this. And, you know, so in other words, they were happy with that. So Oppenheimer was telling, look, we got to keep on, you know, no, the other guy that was there with them, he was telling them that they had to, you know, because Oppenheimer was saying, shut it down. And the other dude was saying, no, we got to build it up even more. And then Oppenheimer was saying that the Russians are going to, you know, start getting this technology. And President Truman, now they ain't going to get this. You see? But now all nations have it. And guess what? They huffing and puffing at America saying, how would I become weak as we? Now we got the technology that you had at one time that made you the bully of the block. Now you can't bully us no more. Because right now America is in its waning years. And it's about to go down. All right? So you got to remember, all of this that you see is all based upon a theory. On a theory. Let's go back to ICBM missiles. Let's go to images, right? You see all of this? All this testing and shooting, all these missiles that they have? All of this at one time was just a dream. It was just an idea. It was a thought. If we could do this, or if we do that, and if we splice this and we do that, then we could get this and build that and build the other thing. All from just an idea, a theory, which shows you how the Lord works and how the Lord, you know, gives and works on the minds of these devils to put together such intricate. This is not easy work. This is a lot of intricate shit, and every component has to work properly or the shit won't work. So you know how long it takes to put this technology together and to be able to find a place, you know, to build something like this into the ground and make a rocket this size, you know, and make sure that each part of the rocket fires properly and make sure that there's enough fuel in each part of the rocket and make sure that at certain elevations, each part of the rocket comes off and detaches so that the next part can shoot and go. That's a lot of work. Just creating the bomb took them 3 years and over $2 billion, 400 personnel. So just imagine, you know, to perfect everything, to get those, you know, because that was just them, you know, putting it together. Then they had to, figure out how to make the rockets and get the rockets going. And man, there's a lot of work going into this. So definitely the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai was working with these devils and giving them that. Why? Because that was their blessing. That was a blessing that the Lord gave to these devils, the sword. And with that sword, he did what? He took peace from the earth, as the scriptures say. So with that, I'm going to leave it there. Lord's will, you brothers and few sisters have been edified. I just wanted to make that point from only a theory. You got all of this technology. And then also to let you know that we're in the last days, because never in history has man had this kind of technology to be able to bring to pass what's written in scripture. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say shalom.